Well, the moment of uh, truth, the moment of truth has arrived. Namaskar. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, wherever you are. In this short part of the world connected with the internet and all the technology from beloved Ascended Master Saint Germain that he has brought to us. I'm very happy to be with you. Today is August 28th. Here is Sunday morning here in Washington, D.C. area. It's well 6:30 a.m. With Jay is even earlier than that. So we are very happy to be with you. I think we have our journey that we started on the studying the pearls of wisdom, or the chapters inscribed in the book called Chela and The Path. That's the book I'm talking about. We'll be going through the chapter number 4 today, and I will. I think I'll talk more about it as a what that chapter includes, and what is the where we are today after having reviewed chapter 3 so far, and where we are going, and where Almora wants us to take us. As I studied the book earlier, also I think this book contains so many things that Almora wants to take us step by step to what he wants to really prepare us for the Chela on the path, as it says. So, welcome on behalf of the Chananda Culture Society. All of you have joined, and all of you will be joining us. I'll wait to welcome you personally a little bit later. Let's have our invocation from our beloved messenger, as we always have, and then we begin our agenda that we have for the day. Okay, Jay, all yours, my friend.
O thou Ancient of Days, bestir our hearts, quicken thy sacred fire within us, purge us of the not-self, intensify white fire, divine love, the power of the blue flame of beloved Almoria. Come forth, ascended masters, adepts of the East. Come forth, Lord of the world. Enter our hearts, transform us by the alchemy of the seventh ray. By thy sacred fire, penetrate, penetrate, penetrate unto the core of being. Satisfy our souls with the light of gladness. Let thy beauty descend as sparkling waterfall. Angel Devas, Elohim archangels, ascended masters, all life in God, come celebrate eternal life within our hearts. In the fullness of thy great cosmic mastery, O life, intensify our well-being. Nurture our souls. Purge us of fear, darkness, and unknowing. O Lord of life, thou who dwellest in our temple, speak to us of love. Speak to us of the divine understanding. Speak to us of our entering in to the oneness of eternal being. Holy Kumara's great central sun magnet, purify and dispel. Distill, O God, the essence of our true reality. Let the fire consume unreality. Let us know true being indeed. Therefore we affirm the seed of the Buddha within us, and the living God, the Atman. Therefore do we worship at this altar. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and the Divine Mother. In the name of the Lord of the world and the lineage of Sanat Kumara, we gather to serve in thy name. I am that I am.
As we have gathered at the feet of the Ascended Master El Moria today to receive the crumbs that fall from the table of the masters, um, you know, the crumbs of life that the Guru gives us. We are very humbly want to welcome El Moria with us. There's a song number 192. Before we sing that song, it's called Master Moria Beloved. I'd like to welcome all of you who have joined us on behalf of the Chananda Culture Society. Kathleen, welcome. JP Sir, welcome. Pooja Nikhalia ji, welcome. Rita Lamba ji, welcome. Azelia ji, welcome. Very nice to have you from your busy schedule. Sujita ji, welcome. And Shabia ji, welcome. Okay, Jay, all yours, my friend. You had the wording on the screen, so you can actually sing the song to him as our guru, as our father. We call Bapu. We call him Bapu also. Yes, said that we can call him Bapu. So he's in Darjeeling, here in retreat in Darjeeling, India.
We are grateful.
Well, sometime, some of you may not know that, but whenever we have been told that when our angels, they fly in the sky, so when they cross each other's path, they greet each other by saying hail to each other. So we have been always we have been taught by the Sunday masters that we can also say hail El Moria or hail any master's name. So we can say three times hail El Moria, as we know that he's with us because we have invoked his presence to be with us. So we welcome him by saying hail El Moria, hail El Moria, hail El Moria, hail El Moria. Like to welcome Moini ji. Uh, uh, let's continue. There's a bonding prayer that we did last time. We did for the first time, and we'll be doing that every time. I'd like to explain the meaning of that, why we give that bonding prayer. It is in our decree book, 10.03, decree 10.03A, A like apple. So Jay, can we have that? Please project it on the screen. I want to show I want to explain why this decree this Almoria gave us this particular bonding prayer. He said that at that time when he gave it, not too long ago, he said that when we give this bonding prayer, he will place his seven chakras over our seven chakras. That is a mighty. Think of that. What Guru is saying. You might be thinking, well, you know, can what does that mean? You know, Almora's chakras, each chakra of Almora is a mighty reservoir of light. Can I hold it? Can I contain it? Can I sustain it? Can I maintain it? So the answer that I think is that depending upon our own capability or our capacity, you can say that, or our which can be increased by the way, and as we hold more peace and more harmony, our capacity to hold the light increases. So that is the fact. That is the factor that comes into the play. So Almoria can give us as much, or any master can give us as much when they place. In this case, Almoria says he's going to place his seven chakras on our seven chakras. So he does when he does that, when he give this decree, when we give this short decree, depending upon our capability, he will place that much, he transfer that much light from his chakras to our chakras, which is a mighty uh, injection, you can say that, of light that makes us feel more clear, more accelerated, more positive, more radiant, more whatever word you want to use that, all that we think, say, and do, because now the Guru is with us. So we can give this prayer not only once, but as many times, so we can have his presence over us and also monitor our state of consciousness as being more harmonious and more peaceful. So what we do is, he said that we can put our left hand over our, let me put the picture, put your left hand over our heart like this, like this. You can say three fingers. You can put the three fingers, the thumb and the two fingers, index finger and the other over our heart, and put our right hand like this in the, what you call is in Sanskrit, Abhay Mudra, fearlessness Mudra, and then you say that. So, I know you're sitting there, but when you are comfortable, you can do that standing, I think, but today is okay. Since we are sitting there, I do not want you to make you uncomfortable. So let's say that. Where I stand, there is Moria, and in his name I say, thus far and no farther. You shall not pass. You shall not tread on holy ground. You shall not enter this hallowed place. You shall not come between me and my God. My God is happiness this day. My God is holiness. My God is the divine wholeness of the living one. I and my Father, Moria, are one. You might be thinking, who is you're talking to when you say you? You shall not, you shall not pass. You shall not, you know, uh, you should not tear down this holy place. Who is this we? Who is this you, and who is, you is really the dweller, the negative energy, the projections of the negative force that attack us, attack all of us, by the way. Because one time I remember a messenger Guru Ma was saying that we literally, when we walk in this world, we are literally walking like we are walking in a sewer. Sewer is like a sewage, that, that flows under the ground, and in, over the ground also sometimes, So that is so that energy when we walk into that pool of negative energy, and that touches our feet, our knees, our part of our body, and our chakras, and it comes and it affects our consciousness. So and so that is one way. But also there are negative forces who use that energy and who project that negative energy at us because we are holding the light, and they are forces of darkness. I don't know whether you know about it or not. They very carefully, very purposefully, and very knowingly they attack every person who is becoming more of light, more of growing into light. So they attack us by negative thoughts at us. So we are saying because of that authority of the God in us, which is a threefold flame. So we use that authority and we say this Abhay Mudra in putting that like this. Let's do it one more time. Now we know that who is you and who is we, or who I am that I am saying that. Okay, one more time. Where I stand, there is Moria, and in his name I say, thus far and no farther. You shall not pass, you shall not tread on holy ground, you shall not enter this hallowed place, you shall not come between me and my God. My God is happiness this day. My God is holiness. My God is the divine wholeness of the living one. I and my Father Moria are one. Thank you, Jay. I want to say you can take this portion, little prayer, you can memorize it, you can cut it, clip, put it in a bathroom, in the mirror or a refrigerator or someplace where you can, or in the car, in the sheet, someplace in your car where uh, you can say from time to time, or in an office or someplace. So it can memorize. You can have a picture of Moria also, a wallet size picture you can take from the TSL uh, web TSL website, TSL encyclopedia, and cut it in the and paste it on this one, along with this bonding prayer, we call it bonding prayer. So let's continue. As we talked last Sunday, we have increased the timing of the meeting from hour and a half to 2 hours India time, from 4 to 6 p.m. because of I realized that there's so much material that we are not able to finish everything in the designated time of hour and a half. So please know that. So if you can stay for another half an hour, I think that will be worthwhile. So we're going to begin our journey together on chapter number 4, which is called the Chelas of the White Fire Core. So Jay, can we have that? We have the Chela of the White Fire Core on the screen. You have a Shilpiji, welcome. Nice to have you with us. Okay, let's have. Now, you might be thinking, what is the white fire core? Chelas of the white fire core. I mean, for some of you, it was a new word for me, white fire core. Well, white fire core is really one way. The way I look at it, is the like you can say every fruit, every vegetable, and we also have a crystal core. We call it a center of our being. We call white fire core. White fire core is really that how we are created from the white fire core. That is the light of our Father, Mother God, Alpha and Omega, and that is our you can say the seed, or the what we are made up of, what is there we are created from, and then everything grows it's like a small plant, grow, and then it grows into becomes. And so white fire core is a seed of our creation, our true identity. It's a threefold flame, you can say that way also. It's a threefold flame that we have, which is the white fire core, because connected with with master, with the great central sun, with every ascended master. You can say that at the horizontal level also, and at the vertical level. So that is a white fire core. This is the how we want to remember ourselves, who we really are. We are not really anything else that people say. There's a culture of people thinking, eat, drink, and be merry because tomorrow we shall die. This is the logo of the or the or the dark forces. They do not want us to remember that who we really are, white fur core of the son and daughters of God. That's what it means. Okay. Um, who's going to read that first two paragraphs? I think the first two paragraphs are very, very important. I think actually one, two, even that I was looking at the word. There are many, many keys. Let me give you little bit of foretaste of what has happened. What we have done so far, Almoria is taking us step by step. We have been talking. Almoria has been teaching us who we really are and as a true sons and daughters of God. We have I am that I am. He talked about that. That in the last couple of chapters, he talked about that. We have a I am presence. We call it Am Brahmasmi in India. And we call it also, he touched a little bit about the threefold flame. Today he's going to talk about the threefold flame a little bit more. He's going to talk about the Holy Christ self. We call it the higher self or the Krishna consciousness or in the middle picture in the chart. He's going to talk about that a little bit from his perspective. Then he's going to talk about something, the unreal self, which is called the electronic belt that we have. So he's going to, why is doing that? You might be thinking, he wants us to know who we really are as sons and daughters of God, and what is the real self. We call it that real with a capital R, real self, and what is the unreal self, which is the electronic belt and the culture of eat, drink, and be merry, and what is the subconscious mind, why the energy goes into the subconscious mind, what is the conscious mind, where the conscious mind is in the and the threefold flame is, and where the electronic belt is in the subconscious mind and all that. So he really want to give, he's preparing us for the next few chapters. And as we go on to the next few chapters, there are 16 chapters by the way. So we are today on the fourth chapter. So as you go to the succeeding chapters, you will see that what Almoria he'll be talking about his Darjeeling council, how many members are there, what they do, when you sleep at night, how when you journey over there, what happens in the retreats over there, classrooms over there. Then he talks about what happens to the when you sleep at night, of course, but when a soul make a transition, some call death, what happens and how the soul is, So he's giving us more, preparing us for the really for the as you can say, I won't say kindergarten, but it's really for the earlier stages of preparing as a Chela. So then he can give us meaning of decrease, why we give decrease, what's the purpose of decrease. Because a lot of us, I had many, many questions when I started my journey. I'm sure you have many, many questions. Why we repeat so many why so many decrease, why there are so many colors of decrease, why there are so many, all those questions. So these are the foundational pieces that we need to put in place before we can become an adept. It's like going to the elementary school, then you go to middle school, then you go to high school, then you go to the college level. So I think he's preparing us step by step so we can become an advanced students and adepts. So as the sons and daughters of God, and he invites us. He said, when you sleep at night, come to my retreat in Darjeeling. There are many retreats. He talks about that. There are different masters of different retreats. You can go to each day of the week. You can go to different retreats with Archangel Michael and all. So there are many, many things that are fundamental to our knowledge, our understanding, to know. Because people will ask this question, but we need to know ourselves. People will ask you, why you do this? You say, well, this is why we do that. This is the reason why, and then you can actually introduce Almoria and Almoria will. So I think that's how we become the pillars of light, pillars of fire. You can say that we also, the pillars of the light, our chakras become that pillars of light, pillars of fire. So going back to the question, what we had earlier, who like to read? I think first paragraph is kind of introductory. second, the first three paragraphs, let's call it first three paragraphs. Who would like to read that? Any volunteers? Yes, you can raise your hand, put in the chat room. Jay can spot that. I can spot that. If not, okay. Jay, would you like to do that then?
Okay, sir. Chelas of the White Fire Core. For the purpose of unrevealing the skins of false identity, we diagram selfhood. As I have said, you are what you are regardless of what you think you are. You are in reality a living flame. The flame above is called the I am presence. The flame below is the spark of life anchored in the center of being. It is a threefold flame of the real self, having the attributes and fire of power, wisdom, and love. This threefold flame is the fire of God that burns in the plane of matter to sustain the seed identity that was and is a living soul. The many layers of awareness that surround the soul, the energy fields of mind and memory, emotions, feelings, physical form consciousness, percepts and recepts, have no polarized selfhood through an outer awareness. Sorry, percepts and recepts have so polarized selfhood through an outer awareness that this outer awareness has become a synthetic self diametrically opposed to the real self. And the soul that was intended to mirror the spirit has become a mirror for a world of whirling energies unlike its original reality, hence unreal. The soul has become a lost identity, lost in time and space. It must be found again. It must find itself in God. So shall I continue the next paragraph too?
No, I think this is good
Okay.
enough. I think there's much more on. Can you project the image? I think the first chart of the presence, and I think it talks about that in the second paragraph, and also the threefold flame also after that. So I think those are the two images that we would need one after the other. But I'll let you know when. Can we have the I am present chart? I think it talks about that, the real self, the threefold flame of the real self. This is very, very important. This what Jay just read. It sounds like very technical, very maybe not very. What he's saying, but
Sir,
when
are
you,
you able to see the chart?
no, I'm not able to see the chart yet. Yeah, maybe now you can project it. Yeah, it's not coming yet. Is it possible? Yeah, we are getting the. Yeah, thank you. That is very good. That is very nice. That's the way I wanted. Thank you. So you can see that many many of you have seen this chart before. I'd like to show to you in context with what Almoria has said on this paragraph that Jay has just read. Now he talks about in this the second paragraph. You are in reality a living flame. What is a living flame? Living flame, not a flame. It's a living flame. Living flame is the threefold flame in the lower. We're going to show the threefold flame in a minute. The living flame is the heart of the bottom figure, the third, first, second, third, the third figure, which is you in the heart of the threefold flame. You cannot see that very clearly, but that is a threefold flame in the heart. So that is a living flame. Now, living flame means that it's breathing because it's pulsating. Your heart is pulsating in you. So therefore, this is not a flame, it is a living flame, which is also called the unfed flame. You might, what is unfed flame? You know, it means it's being, normally we see a flame that is like in a flame in a fire, is being fired, for something. It is unfed flame, It's called unfed flame because it is being fed from the top, from the I am presence, the top figure. It's contained through the crystal cord that is coming from over the heart or the head of the person, you or your head, coming into the heart and then blazing the threefold flame. So this is the reason. This is the reason why we do decrease. We can command and we can demand, because this is makes you son and daughter of God, or God in the making, here and now. Living flame, not a not a dead flame, not a dead ritual that we do that, not a dead decrease, not a road decrease that we do, not mantras that we do, decrease road, whatever we call it. You know, they are living because your heart is beating, and the heart is beating because this flame is connected with your to the top figure. From the top figure, I think I'll also it goes from the top figure, it goes to the heart of the Alpha and Omega and the great central sun. So there is another picture that I do not have it right now, but that is how we are. All of us are connected. So threefold flame is very important knowledge to know. Living flame. The flame above is called the I am presence. I'm reading the second paragraph. The flame below is a spark of life anchored in the center of being. We talked about that threefold flame. It is threefold flame of the real self, having the attributes of fire, fire of power, wisdom, and love. Is it possible to shift this picture to the left, Jay, instead of on the right? I don't know. You can do that. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Okay. And love. This threefold flame is the fire of God that burns in the plains of matter. What is that said? The threefold flame is the fire of God. Remember that fire of God that burns in the plane of matter. What is the matter? Plane of matter. Physical body. We calling body. We had the flame comes from the etheric plane, which is the you can call heaven word, etheric plane, and it comes to the matter plane. The etheric plane is called the flame of alpha. This is maybe a new word for you, alpha, and the matter plane is called the plane of omega, matter. The word matter is a stand for mater, for mother. To sustain the seed of identity that was and is a living soul, a living soul. This is another the word living is very important that we want to know. It's not a dead ritual. It's like that's what sometimes we read it very casually and these words kind of slip by from our eyes. So I'm going to continue the next paragraph. The many layers of awareness that surround the soul, many layers of awareness that surround the soul. What does that mean? The energy holds the mind and memory, emotions, feelings, physical form, and form consciousness. Form consciousness, maybe a new word for you. Percepts and recepts. I'm going to talk about that. What is percept and recepts? Have a polarized selfhood through an outer awareness, that this outer awareness has become a synthetic self, diametrically opposed to the real self. Now he says quite a bit here in this paragraph, in this long sentence. That is many layers. We talked about that last. That soul journeys around before the soul comes into the being. It journeys around this causal body, circle by around those each circle from the outer to it starts from the outer blue, goes to the inner and then inner and then inner. Or maybe you can see starts from the inner and goes to the outer and puts the close of consciousness, before it comes to the matter plane. That's what he's saying. That this is how the soul was developed with the putting the garments of the consciousness of the outer rings of causal body. So the word that you want to make a note is that the percepts, uh, percepts and the word percepts come from perceptions. So you want to make a note of that perception, and the word recepts comes from the. Can you show the word J on your computer, the word percept, so people can see that percepts and then recepts. What is the dictionary says about the word? These are very important words because these are the what makes us perception. Word comes from that. We perceive things as we see things, which are unreal. That's what he's trying to. More is trying to make his point here. How we receive them, recepts. how we receive it and then adopt them as in our life. But, the perceptions, and then they become part of our identity as recepts. So this is something uh, that is very, very important. Can you do that, Jay? Or should I move? Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, please. Yeah, thank you. What does it say?
An object of perception, something that is perceived.
Objective perception, something that is perceived. So this is something very important. Perceived. How do we perceive things? The way we, depending upon, I think the word, he's not saying that, but I'm saying that depending upon our psychology, depending upon how we process it, depending upon how we view things in and we process them like that. Can we show the recepts now?
No, sir, it's not showing anything right now. Sorry, sir.
Okay, recepts is how we receive them, how we retain them in our life. So I think so. This was a very important part that we just discussed. But he's saying is that this is how we in outer awareness. There is an inner awareness. If there is a word outer awareness, there must be an inner awareness also. Inner awareness is the inner identity, inner memory, who we really are, the real self. Outer awareness is the worldly awareness of synthetic self, he calls it, opposed, diametrically opposed to the real self. Very, very important. Why he says that? Why is opposed to real self? It's called Maya. It's called अरे कल करेंगे अरे आज नहीं करेंगे आज अरे क्या क्या करोगे डिग्री करके अरे why you are doing degree, it's not helping. I got an email from someone this morning. He says, sir, I sent him a degree. He said, it's not working. It's not working. It's not helping. So I wrote him back. I said, degrees don't work. You work with your devotion. We work. Master's teaching is that if you give those degrees to the road consciousness, in tote ki tarah, like a parrot, they just like, it's a dead ritual. So that's what I'm saying. The road consciousness is just a tool of the synthetic self. It uses that, or then people stop giving degrees. That's how it gets called diametrically opposed to real self. I'm going to continue then. And the soul that was intended to mirror the spirit, and the soul that was intended to mirror. Very important. Soul is intended to mirror the consciousness of the of higher self, of the spirit, capital S, becomes a mirror of the world of worldling energies, unlike its original reality, hence unreal. So this is the reason why the soul is supposed to, please make a note of that. The soul is supposed to mirror as of the mirror, just like you go to the ocean, you go to a river, and you see the sun reflecting in the body of the water, and that is just like that. Our soul is supposed to be a body that is supposed to reflect the I am presence, the qualities of that, manifesting them, adopting them, doing that, thinking that, feeling that. The soul has become so then he continues the last sentence, the soul has become a lost identity, lost in time and space, lost in time and space, which is what the coordinates of time and space. We soul wonders, we wonder aimlessly. You drink and be merry. Arey, aaj kya din hai? When I was growing up, I used to have some a distant cousin, So I used to ask him, how are you doing? Oh, in Punjabi, he would say, cut rahi hai. Cut rahi matlab, life is, I'm just passing time. So that's why he was saying, cut rahi hai, passing time. So that's what it is. Aimlessly, people just pass the time and then they leave the world. So it must be found again. This is Al-Moria saying. It must be found again. It must find itself in God. Now, here is where Al-Moria is really trying to ignite us. The purpose of this book study, workshop that we are doing. He wants to reignite our engine, our motor in our, and so we can have a purpose, a living flame, a living soul, a living person. So I think uh, uh, that is what I wanted to say here. Next, let's see, next two paragraphs. Any volunteers? The next two paragraphs. Let's see.
Anybody who wants to read can raise their hands in the reaction, and I can unmute them. Okay.
Kathleen. Okay.
Thus we behold the plight of the soul, lost in the force fields of a subconsciousness, a self-awareness that is below the threshold of God's self-awareness, which declares, I am who I am. Because man and woman were given the gift of free will and the gift of life that is the threefold flame, they may consciously choose to affirm the law of the flame and the identity of the flame, and to call that flame myself. In so doing, male and female return to the divine polarity. In so doing, male and female return to the seat of authority, the authority of the real self, to take dominion over the synthetic self. From that point of self-identification, all may proceed to draw the skeins of the evolving soul identity into the central core of being that is the flame called God.
Please continue. Next paragraph also, Kathleen.
Okay, I just have to find it there again. Thank you. Now, there is an aspect of yourself that I would acquaint you with. It is that point of consciousness which knows the self that is God, while knowing the self that is the soul in the state of becoming God. It also knows all of the aspects of awareness tethered to the synthetic image. This point of selfhood we call the Christ self, or the anointed one. In the diagram of selfhood, it is the mediator between the portion of self evolving in the planes of spirit, which we have called the I am presence, and that portion of self evolving in the planes of matter, which is known as the seed identity or the soul. See illustration 142. That was your I am presence that you showed before.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Jay, can we have my friend on the right side of the page, first the threefold flame and then the I am present chart afterward. I want to explain the threefold flame a little bit more in context. Can you go back to the previous page also at the same time? First we can, because the threefold flame is in the previous page, and yes.
So can you see the threefold flame?
I cannot see that, but if you can put on the left side of the page, yeah, can you? Yeah, that's perfect. Now I can see that. So this is the threefold flame that we are talking, that Elmore is talking about, and I'm going to read that. So just to make sure that we understand his wording connected clearly, as we say that, thus we hold the plight of the soul lost in the force field of the subconsciousness. Subconscious, see the word subconsciousness, a self-awareness that is below the threefold threshold of God's self-awareness, which declares I am who I am. But the subconscious, the threefold flame, he talks about that. I'm going to read that. Because man and woman were given the gift of free will and the gift of life, that is the threefold flame, they may consciously choose to affirm the law of the flame and the identity of the flame, and to call the flame myself. So this is your identity, myself. This is you. It resides in the, he does not say right here, but he says that this does not reside in the subconscious level. It is the threefold flame resides in the level of the heart. Level of the heart is your I am who I am, where the threefold flame is that you saw in the picture earlier. We're going to see it again in a minute. So the subconscious level that he talks about, that itself, in next line, I'm going to read that. In so doing, male and female return to the divine polarity. In so doing, male and female return to the seat of authority. This is the seat of authority, as I said. That's why we call command and demand. The authority of the real self to take dominion over the synthetic self. So this is very, very important thing to know and use it. It's not just to say, well, I have a threefold flame, you know. So we have a degree to threefold flame 20.03 that we have, and we use that. So Jay, can we go to the next page and then put the chart of the presence on the other page, on the other side of the page, please? Yeah, okay. And you can put on the right side of the chart of the presence. I want to explain that here one more time. The Almoria talks about the middle picture in the chart. Okay, point of self. Okay, point of self identification. I'm going to go to start from here now. Yeah, can you put it on the right side, please, if you can? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now I'm going to read this. So just to make sure that now there is an aspect of yourself that I would acquaint, Salmore is saying, I would acquaint you with it. This is trying to, you want to introduce us to the middle picture, which is a Vishnu consciousness with four hands. It is that point of consciousness which knows the self, capital S, which knows the self. It knows itself. It knows the self as God, the real self, which is top figure. Top figure. That is God. Also, while knowing the self, it is a small s. That is the soul in the state of becoming God. Please know that this is God is going to say that mediator. So this is right in the middle. He knows he's works with the tops, which is a capital S self, real self, and the lower figure, which is the lower self. We call it synthetic self. Real self, Maya. We call it so far. So I'm going to continue. It also knows all of the aspects of awareness gathered to the synthetic image. Did you know that? So he's a guru. He knows how the synthetic self, we call it dweller or negative mind, how it plays the games. So he knows. He's called Atma. We call it Atma. And this is the bottom part. We call it Jivatma. Atma, Jivatma, top figure called Paramatma. So these are the three words that we know in India. If you want to compare, it means the same thing. Real self, synthetic self, and Krishna consciousness self, the higher self, we call it higher mind. Okay. In the diagram of selfhood, it is a mediator between the portion of self, small as soul, evolving in the planes of spirit, capital S, which we have called the I am presence, and a portion of self evolving in the planes of matter, which is known as the seed, identity, or the soul. So I think this is you want to add something to that, Kathleen? Because you read it, you might have something.
Only the word skeins, when he says the skeins of the evolving soul, identity, because he repeated that word in the very first line of the very first paragraph of this chapter. And so he's talking about a skein is a thread or a rope or a cloth that we make and that we build around ourselves, like we build like we're in a cocoon, some sort of a cocoon. And so when he talks about the skeins, to my mind, it comes, when you see in ancient Egypt, they have the dead mummies and they wrap them in the cloth and they wrap it around and around and around the body before they bury the body, and that's called a mummy. And he's talking about unraveling the skeins of that dead self, that portion of ourselves that's not real. And we come out of that cocoon, we come out of that state of inertia to reveal our true self after we undo those threads, because he repeated that word skeins twice in this chapter. I think that he's got that, Almoria's got that vision of us coming out of the grave, or the like Lazarus, when Lazarus was raised from the dead in his resurrection, when he became his true living self, he threw off those cloths and that all of those threads that were around his body, and he was reborn into his new identity of who he really was. And I think that's where Moria, why he's using that word skeins twice in this chapter, to give us that idea about unraveling ourselves and coming from the old self, the dead self, and our identity emerges as the new self, reborn, after we take off all of those skins that we've wrapped around ourselves of the not self, which is lovely and a very beautiful thought for my thought.
Yes, thank you. I think that was the part he mentioned in the last chapter also, how the soul goes around the causal body and puts the skeins of consciousness, and we call it threads, as you said, cocoon. I like the word cocoon as a coming out of the,
Yes.
right, when word of form, before it comes, the spirit comes in a word of form, puts those garments, or the layers of consciousness of God's qualities. Thank you. Okay. Jay, I'm going to continue with the next two paragraphs. Maybe you can remove this one, I think, and we can have another volunteer for next two paragraphs. The Christ self is your true self. Hey,
Anybody who wants to speak, wants to read, just raise their hands. Thank you.
You want me to read, or you want to read?
Sir, I'm waiting for somebody to raise hand. Otherwise, you can read.
Okay, let's say another 30 seconds. Anyone? Okay. Going, gone. Mohini ji, raise your hand. Okay, Mohini ji, you are. The Christ self is your true self from there. And we end up at the next paragraph, time and space, where it says,
the Christ self is your true self. It is what you really are as an individual, reflecting the individuality of God. It is your real, that is a part of the personality of God. The Christ self is your mentor, your personal guru, until the day when merging with that self, you affirm, I am the Christ. I am the mentor. I am the guru. The separation from this self, from this reality, is sustained only so long as you, but by your free will, choose to sustain the components of the synthetic image. Now, therefore, since you are what you are, let us consider what you are. In the planes of matter, you are a conglomerate of causation, past, present, and future. You are a force field, an energy field, a complex atom of selfhood, an organized coil of identity, a center of soul awareness, evolving towards God self awareness. As a force field of causation, you are an accumulation of karma, of energy that is in positive and negative polarity, which must be brought into balance with cosmic law and cosmic cycles, that it might transcend the planes of matter and overcome the limitations of time and space.
very good. Thank you. Any comments? Aapke hain? You want to add something to what you read, Mohini ji? Anything that comes to your mind that you think that what he's saying, or what your thoughts are about that?
What I have understood while reading it, that the God in me is our true self. And when we say, I am the Christ, I am the mentor, I am the guru, then the separation is sustained only as long as we want to do that. If we say it's our free will, we can be one, our inner Christ can be one with the great central sun. And whatever we do, whatever the karmas we generate or we have generated in the past, present, and future, that actually decides what is our energy field. But of course, the masters, they have given us the free will to do whatever we must do so that we can ascend as fast as we can.
Good. Very good. Thank you. I think one point that I wanted to emphasize is that in the first paragraph, I when we when the when more as words until the day when you when until the day, this is the first paragraph on the left side, first, second, third, fourth line. The Christ self is your mentor, your personal guru, until the day, and I'm beginning from that, until the day when merging with the self, that self, this, which is the, which is the two become one. That's what he's saying. And Maria is saying, the soul and the higher self, middle picture and the bottom picture, they become one. And that is the, you say, I am the Christ. I am the Christ means I am, uh, the word Christ doesn't mean I am Jesus Christ. One means I am the Christ self, I am Krishna self. I am, whatever, Buddha self, you can say that word, Guru Nanak self, God self, so I am the mentor. This is the word, I am the mentor. You become one, you become the mentor, you become, this is the key. How do you do that? How do you become that? That is the point, because the dweller, we call it dweller is the real, the lower self, we call it, which is this in control of the soul. The dweller does not want us to, oh, I so jao, aaj nahi jana hai. You don't have to go to work, want to decree, don't have to go to temple, don't have to decree, don't have to, do this, do not have to be a good chela, enjoy life, go to bar, go to have good time with your friends, go this, go do that. And slowly tries to devour, from the soul, from the path. And then soul says, okay, I do not, then find a justification of not continuing on the path. That's what Almoria is saying here. So I think the free will that he talks about a little bit later. I'm going to come to that. I am the guru. And this is something. Who's the guru? You cannot say I am the guru. The Lord self cannot say that I am the guru. There are many false gurus who say that I am the guru, because the lower self is very smart to say that I am the guru. Say capital I, capital A, capital M. I am the guru. This is a very important statement. Many people say that I am the guru, I am the mentor, I'm the Christ. And we have all over the world, in India, in every place. We have many people who say the same tune, say the same song. But but one who knows that, one who knows the the vibration, one who knows okay, free will. What is a free will? Free will. People interpret free will differently also. Oh, my free will, Junior. I can do whatever I want to do. It's my free will. So there's a different interpretation of free will. Now here comes the main thing. As Almoraz want to make sure that we understand the meaning of there's only one free will. Only free will that God created to us to become guru, become God, become mentor. That's only thing. It's not free will, but sometimes people interpret free will as I want to enjoy my life. It's my free will. So that is where I think, how do you recognize yourself? I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about you, talking about yourself. That's all I have control over only myself. You have control only on yourself. So that is called, I think, this whole path Almoria laying on that. So Almoria being our guru, our teacher, our guide, our whatever, to help us to step by step in this journey of discerning the free will. That's why he's given us many degrees. As I said, giving those degrees with that kind of devotion and concentration. So I think that is the one that is very important. I think Jay, you want to say something, Jay?
No, sir, nothing to say. You have explained it very beautifully. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think I'm looking at the wall, so I'm going to move on. Maybe next one who's going to read that, we're going to comment on that. There's a one. I'm sorry. There's one part here. As a force will of causation, causation. This is one area. Can you highlight that? Force will of cause. What is causation? Causation is cause and effect. This is a free will causation, the force will of causation. You are accumulation of karma, of energy that is positive and negative polarity, which must be brought. This is karma. Causation is the important word. Cause, effect, is karma. So we have the good karma and bad karma that he's saying. And then we have to, I think he's talking about that, overcome the limitation of time and space, balance it with cosmic law. So I think you may want to read this whole chapter again after we discuss that. Is a this is how the selfhood, the lower self, we call it soul, selfhood, an organized call of identity, center of soul awareness, evolving toward God's self-awareness, a capital S, self-awareness. So self-awareness with a self-awareness and a self-awareness with a capital small s and a self-awareness with a capital S. Self-awareness. That is what he's talking about from graduating or putting the garments or becoming God, step by step. By knowing the karma that we have made through causation, making the choices of the free will that we did not know that now we know better. Okay, next one. You have the gift of consciousness.
Sir, if somebody wants to read, otherwise, if Poonam wants to read, she can read it from here.
Okay, Poonam, are you there? Yeah, you have the gift of consciousness. Poonam says you are having difficulty in unmuting herself last time. So, can you unmute her?
Sir, she is already unmuted. She has to, yeah.
जी sir.
Can you read that? You have a gift of consciousness.
You have gift of consciousness centered in the flame of life, anchored in the heart, knows itself as God, as limitless potential, as a being that is infinite, though सर इसको क्या pronounce करेंगे? Tethered to a matrix that is finite. The flame that you are is the following stream of consciousness that ever was, that ever shall be, that even now is the fulfillment of the law of your being. In the flame of your consciousness of continuity, it is the portion of the spirit that is deathless, breathless, eternal. In the flame, you know that you have always existed, as that you always will. In the flame is the merging of your soul and your spirit in eternity. It is the matrix of the forever now that provides you with the understanding of the statement of the Christ. Before Abraham was, I am. In the flame, you affirm and exalt the absolute perfection of your being.
Okay, thank you. Any comment? Poonam, what you read it? Anything you want to say to that?
Sir, आप बताइए अभी नहीं.
Okay, you have a gift of, he says you have a gift of consciousness. You talked about the gift of free will. So where this word gift of consciousness, what is the gift of consciousness? How that is different from gift of free will? The free will and consciousness, I think consciousness is made up of two things, thoughts and feelings. Thoughts and feelings make the consciousness. So he's saying, so where our thoughts goes, and where our feelings goes, our consciousness goes. So that is the point here. So we have to know that the free will is free will to do things is also I don't know which one is the driver, consciousness or free will. One of them, or maybe both of them work together, So whatever we do at different times. Consciousness centered in the flame of life, anchored in the heart, knows itself as God. So he now is saying consciousness when he's in the flame of life. What is the flame of life? Flame of life is a threefold flame in the heart chakra. When consciousness is centered in our heart chakra, which is a threefold flame, is that Israel that is saying knows itself as God. I am who I am, as limitless potential, as being that is infinite, so tethered as a matrix that is uh, infinite, though tethered to a matrix that is finite. This is another point. What he is saying here, human body may is finite, but they say the heart chakra is infinite. That's what he's saying. When the consciousness is tethered, when the consciousness go to the solar plexus, another chakra, lower than the heart chakra. There are three chakras lower than the heart also. So then it is then it goes differently. Then it's not infinite. It becomes finite. So that is the thing. That's why we always, Al Moria and masters are given many degrees that allow us to stay in the heart. I am the light of the heart is another degree. There are many things. When we are in the heart, our meditation 24/7, we practice that. When we finish our degrees, we want to practice that. Am I in the heart? Where is my energy and where is my consciousness? I am in the heart, or I am in the solar plexus, or I am in the someplace else. Solar plexus is where the emotions go wild, uncontrolled, anger, resentment, non-forgiveness. Whatever think of that, the energies of that. The moment you catch yourself in that level, you want to say, oh, God, forgive me, please. I didn't mean to go there. And you raise your, do something. I am that I am, Om Brahmasmi, or I am Om Tat Sat, Om Brahmasmi, or I am that I am, or Bhagwan Ka Naam. However you want to do the raise the Bible, I am that I am is a very good mantra. I am that I am, I am that I am, I am that I am, I am that I am. Chant that, and your soul will rise to the level of the heart, and you will feel again infinite. That's what he's saying. So I think that, Kathleen, you want to add something to that, please? Do you want to add something to in this, what I just said, this paragraph?
And only that that interesting part about how we are an energy field and how we are a force field of causation. Could you talk about the energy field around us, like as a point of causation or as an atom of selfhood? A negative and positive, because atoms have positive side and they have a negative side, like a battery, which gives off energy. It's very complicated, isn't it? It's very complex. It's a lot to think about. Mm-hmm. It's so very yeah.
Yes, I think more we, the more we study this line by line, word by word, and pause it and think about what is, Almora, what are you saying? I don't get it. Almora, what are you saying? I do the same thing. I was reading that. Almora, what are you saying here? I don't get it. I read it again. I read it again. I said, oh, I see. So I think this is very deep that Almora is leading us by holding our finger like a child. I'm saying this, Jaspal. Kathleen, I'm saying this. Poonam, I'm saying this. Jay, I'm saying this. Moiniji, I'm saying this. So that's how I do. That's how we should all, I think. So it doesn't come through one reading sometimes. So it's very lovingly, these words are like gems, that I feel.
I don't have a copy of. I don't have a copy of this, so that's why it's so.
Yeah, you have a copy of that, you read it. So I think that's I'm suggesting. I think we should all get a copy of the Chela and the Path, So we just don't, I think it makes a big difference. When you have a copy, we read it before, we read it after, and or at bedtime, before you go to sleep at night, read a read a chapter, I think that helps a lot. Yeah. Okay. Next one, Jay. Let's continue where we are. So I'm looking at the clock, so we want to continue. Next page here. Do you have any volunteers for the uh, in the
No,
uh,
sir. Sir, would you like
yeah
to
in
read?
the flame is a miniature, yeah, sun, yeah. We can read two paragraphs. Yeah. Who you have any volunteers?
Sir, can you read, sir? Would you like to read?
Oh, you want me to read? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
The
you.
flame is a miniature sun. What is the flame? Flame is a threefold flame. You can say that in your heart chakra, radiating like a sun. So you can say the flame as a and they see a O like this, in a ovoid around it, and it's like a miniature sun. It's very only 16th of an inch. This is the height of it. In height, in the average man or woman, it is the magnet of your individuality in God. Wow. Magnet of your individuality. Did you know that magnet? I always thought individuality in God, but remember the word magnet. Put the word magnet over there in your consciousness. Magnet means it magnetizes the quality of itself, towards it. You know. So all you send a message, all the beings, all the people in the world who have the same vibration of love, wisdom, and power, and of course the white light of the purity, or seven rays that makes these four colors make the seven colors. By the way, you know that, and the secret ray also, five the 12. So this magnetizes the quality of, and you are connected with everyone horizontally in this world and with masters in the etheric. That's what the magnet does. Like attracts like. So that is a word. So consider your heart as a magnet. Just step forward. I'm going to continue. And third line. And lo, your duality is an individed duality. I'm going to talk about that. Individed. Your individuality is individed. What he's saying is internally individed um, duality. Duality means what? Duality doesn't mean the negative side. Duality means that you are in duality, you are here, but you are also connected with the whole universe. In that sense, it's in duality is that way, not as negative energy. So you are individual, but you are still in the okay. You are micro and you are also macro cosmos. Micro individuality, macro universally, cosmos, everywhere. Same time. This is the very important point. Undivided world, undivided, as he says that, duality. So as above, so below. And this is again as below, as above, so below. As below means individually, but also with everyone in the world. And also above everyone with the masters in the spiritual realm, both of them. This is very important thing. As the flame is the I am presence, as the flame is the I am presence above, so it is the spark of life below. So individually at the micro level, individual I am presence, threefold flame below life. So spark of life. This is called the threefold flame is called the spark of life below. And so you are a duality. So what I'm saying is that duality means you are in the heaven, you are in the world, you are in the earth, same time, So so some people think that God is form or God is formless, either one of them. A Sunday message says no, God is both form and formless. That's what he's saying. Duality. God is spirit, which is formless, and God is in matter, which is form in you. That's what he's saying. A portion of self, a portion that is fully realized in God, two portions, lives in spirit. And that portion of the self, not yet fully self realized in God, lives in the planes of matter. That portion is the soul. And the flame, the Lord or law of being, is the keeper of the soul, even as the soul is intended to become the keeper of the flame. Wow. Let me see again, explain to you the first, second, third line, the portion of the soul. Okay. That portion of the soul. Okay. And the flame. The Lord or law of being is the keeper of the soul. You can talking about the portion of the soul is higher self as a keeper of the keeper. Uh, Even as the soul is intended to become the keeper of the flame. Wow. What he's saying is that the Guru is the Atma or the higher self, as the keeper of the soul. As the soul is meant to become the keeper, become the keeper of the flame, the threefold flame. Ghar ka Malik, the owner of the house, is really the soul, united with the higher self. So they become the owner of the house, or the owner of house means threefold flame, where threefold flame burns. So the two become one, Atma and Jivatma, they merge together. Until then, the Guru, the higher self, works with the soul. The soul is the sphere of identity that evolves around the sun center, the sacred fire. The soul is the sphere of identity. That's Kathleen was saying about a keen. I think the soul is a sphere of identity circle that revolves around the sun center. This is how we are created, and this continues to evolve around the sun center. Sun center is, you can say that I'm looking at the sun, miniature sun in the heart. It keeps evolving around the threefold flame, the aura of the threefold flame in the heart as the source of life in matter. The soul also known itself as God. The soul also known itself as God. So the soul becomes God, the soul itself known as God. Soul and Atma become one. Soul and higher self become one. But the soul's awareness includes the memory of past incarnation and interaction with other souls. But the soul's awareness includes the memory of past incarnation and interaction with other souls. So this is the karma, memory, and that's why the soul individuality awareness is unique. It's really everyone is unique because we have it retains the memory, and then I think we talked about the karma balancing from the causation, and then we always maintain that when I think all your Sunday master they have given us many embodiments that they were, some of the embodiments, Almore has given many embodiments. So that's why his soul was there. That is a past incarnation in interaction with other souls, interaction with us. We were part of Almora's family, Guru Ma and all of us were together. So this is something that I think much more deeper than this one sentence that here is. I'm going to continue. So we have any volunteer for the next one? Soul is surrounded by an electron, because here is something we are going to talk about, the electronic belt. Maybe you can have it on the left hand side, Jay, the picture of the electronic belt as we read that, so we can look at the pictures at the same time. The picture of the electronic belt, the person standing there like a drum, I think that will be very helpful for people to visualize yeah, this is the one, what we are saying.
I think, sir, nobody else. Rahul Draviji
Okay.
wants to.
Okay.
Let me unmute them.
Okay, yeah. Please put the picture. I don't see the picture yet, Jay. I saw it, and it flashed and went away again. Yeah. Okay. Now, please go ahead and read that.
I'm Renuka here. Namaste. Yeah.
Okay, Renuka is here. Okay.
Yeah. The soul is surrounded by an electronic force field that contains the cause, effect, record, and memory of those energies of karma which require balancing ere the soul can return to the plane of reality in the I am presence. This force field is called the electronic belt. It can be diagrammed as the lower half of an egg positioned from the navel or the solar plexus to beneath the feet. You see, the lower portion of man and woman is surrounded by an energy field containing the entire records of the soul's involvement in the planes of matter, whose frequencies vibrate below the plane of mental awareness and hence are called subconscious. This man does not normally have an outer memory of the soul's experiences in previous lives for these are kept below the surface of awareness in this lower portion of the etheric body.
Please continue the next one.
Yeah. The daily encounters of man and woman on the streets of life are in reality the unwinding of the cycles of karma, of positive and negative forces come full circle for the reckoning of the law of being. When people encounter past hatreds and animosities and the records of violent interchange, they sometimes, on contact with another person, find themselves seized with jealousy, anger, resentment, anxiety, or any of a multitude of negative reactions. Such experiences denote that pockets of energy misused in other lifetimes are coming to the surface of consciousness from the plane of the subconscious for the restoration of balance both within and among the souls. In the process,
That's it. I think that's, stop it right here. I'll come back to it. I think I want to explain this. You see this person, this is called the electronic belt below the navel solar plexus chakra and covering the feet also. It's like a drum, half a drum person. This is called electronic belt. This may be a new word for you. You might not have heard it. Look at you see what are the colors there? You know, what is that color? You know, those that you see. So there are 12 lines of the clock on that one. Just so remember, you have the 12 lines of the clock in the causal body, the top figure, I'm presence. So this is the perversion of that. This is the counter self of the 12 points of the causal body. The perversion is a misused light, which is the called negative karma. If this is negative karma, where is the positive karma goes? Positive karma goes into the causal body when we do good things, as well. And Moria talks about through our thought, words, deed, and feelings. Those are the four ways we make karma. So when we make the negative karma, that goes here in the solar plexus chakra, there where the emotions are jealousy, anger that Moria talks about. Here they are there. So people, when they go fight with each other or argue with each other, they are working at this level. This energy that is called the negative energy or the electronic belt, their electronic belt rubs against each other. Negative forces. That's all. So that's how at the level of a group level or at the level of country nations level, the wars or the rights in the city or all the negative things, the group energy, the group electronic belt energy gets cumulative, and then the people become all violent and jealous and rousy and all that Almora talks about. Wow. So you might be saying, that is good. I think we're going to talk about, I think Almora is going to talk about next how to deal with that. Yes. But I think Amadev, you to see this picture, you can go to the TSL encyclopedia. I got this picture from that. And there's a description of electronic belt. Go to TSL encyclopedia, go to search column and put the electronic belt. This may be something that, so you may find there are two pictures, this one picture, another picture there. In other pictures, you see demon entities, right there, and black color or different color of entities there instead of this kind of picture. So you may want to see that one also. I read. So they do contain entities, by the way, here also that suck the energies and make people angry and all that. So I think, and anyway, we'll continue with that. Jay, we have another volunteer for it. We can remove this picture. I think that might be enough. Yeah. In the process, You have any new volunteers, or maybe if not, then maybe
I can read, sir. I don't see anybody right now.
maybe Renukaji can. Are you willing to continue, Renukaji, next two paragraphs? Mohiniji, okay.
Sir, whom should I unmute first? Renuka ji or Mohini ji?
Okay. Let's have Renukaji first. I think if after that Mohiniji can do that next one.
I have to continue from in the process, right?
Yeah, in the process, please. Yeah.
In the process, individuals must learn the art of self-mastery. They must learn to govern those energies in motion that have recorded past indulgences in patterns of imperfection. Accidents, injuries, sudden illness, a turn of events in business, in the household, or in the marriage may also denote the descent of karma that is released through the recycling of energy from the electronic belt. When this occurs, O chelas of the white fire core, know that it is the testing of your soul and that it is time to enter into the core of life, that is the flame. Centered in the flame, you can then challenge these negative spirals in the name of your own Christ self and call to the I Am Presence to release the flame into action and to pass the flame through the subconscious for the transmutation of the cause and core of every negative situation.
Yeah, let's have one more. In so doing.
Yeah. In so doing, you will be practicing the art and science of transmutation. You will be changing the frequency of energies disconnected from the source so that they may be reunited with the source. And as these energies cycle back to the source, your own soul awareness will follow. You will be releasing energy locked in imperfect patterns that it might be sealed in patterns of perfection.
Thank you. I think what he's saying is that Adil Moria is saying is that
I want to
Go
stop you
ahead.
because there was a question here. Can this karma be removed by forgiveness? She had a question on the chat room, Renuka ji, for the previous paragraph. Can this karma be removed by forgiveness? When we were talking about electronic belt.
Yes, I will say that Violet Flame, I think the one I sent to many of you, and also I posted on the Chananda prayer group a quotation by my mother on importance of forgiveness and why so important to forgive. I think that is very important with the Violet Flame, knowledge of Violet Flame, giving the Violet Flame can be erased. Yes, this is new teaching with the Violet Flame, knowledge of Violet Flame, and karma can be balanced, forgiveness. I also know that what forgiveness decree does in general. This is what forgiveness does. Two things. It erases the karma, one thing. But if the karma, most of the karma, most of the time the karma can be erased. If not, that another possibility is that it creates an opportunity for a person to मान लीजिए, I'll give you an example of that. If I have done something wrong, very wrong, and I want to ask for forgiveness. I ask forgiveness from that person. So karma may not be erased. I'm just saying another possibility, but I might be given another opportunity to redo it. So it cleans the slate, but it does not clean the slate, but it gives me another opportunity. Look at that way also. I think that also another way to look at it. So that is another way to look. But forgiveness gives both. It erases violet flame, erases it, and it also gives me to do the right thing that I should have done it first time. So the opportunity comes very quicker, sooner than later. If I don't ask for that forgiveness, opportunity may not come to me much, not in this lifetime. So I think that is another way to look at it. So I think that answered your question, I hope. Kathleen, and you want to add something to that? No, okay. Thank you. So I think the question that Almoria says that can you go to next page, Jay? I think I want to say something. I think something that touched my heart. Oh no, okay. I think no, the backside. I'm sorry, I missed it. Where was that word I'm looking for? Something that when he says, "Oh, chelas of the white fire core," that word I'm looking for. The flame that miniature sun, only 6 year portion, the soul surrounded by electronic. Does next page? What's the next page? Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Yeah, on the right side on the page, when this occurs, oh chelas of the white fire core. This is the only place that I saw the word, oh chelas of the white fire core. See how nicely he addresses you, me, everyone. Oh chelas of the white fire core. He's like reminding you are sons and daughters of God. You are not made of that, nonsense, energy. That is a testing of your soul. So when that happens, that he says, it is a testing. Remember that word testing. It's a testing of your soul. Why does test come? It is time to enter into the core of life, that is the flame. So that's what I was saying. When you feel that way, and all the energies, it's time to raise your energies from the level of the conscious level, which is below the conscious. The conscious is on the heart. Anything below the heart is subconscious. That's what he's saying, that we raise the level of the soul to the level of conscious level in the heart. And then you say, time to enter into the core of life, that is the flame, threefold flame. Centered in the flame, you can then challenge these negative spirals. He did not say that you can challenge energy from that level of the soul. That's why we do. I am the light of the heart. We have all the decrees that we do in chanting the Om even. When you chant the Om, that raises the vibration of the soul from the level, from the below. It is, the soul, the seat of the soul chakra, it comes to the level of the heart. Then and only then you do decrease, because otherwise our soul will be wandering over there and there and there. We will not be, will be decrease. Sure. We, as Master called it, we clicking our jaws, moving our jaws like that, our teeth, but the decrease, maybe road consciousness, that's what it's called. So then you do those decrees, Almoria says, centered in the flame, you can then challenge the negative spirals. You have a decree to challenge 20.07. Jesus gave us that decree to challenge the energies of the North Self, they shall not pass. That's very powerful decree that we have. So that's why, Master do not leave us high and dry. They have given us a toolbox of decrees, many decrees for the right thing. Like you go to the battle and you know which weapon you want to use to kill the enemy, to destroy the enemy. And those decrees are like that. They diffuse the energies of the dark forces that attack us like that. So that's what I think that's what Almoria is saying. So remember that, all these decrees, all that Almoria is saying is that in this chapter, he makes us aware of our higher self. He makes us aware of our lower self, Atma. Then he gives us the mediator and tells us about we have electronic belt where the soul can get caught. And then what is the remedy to really, do and come into the heart, level of the heart, and then challenge the dark forces to those decrees, So this is a strategy of victory. Almora has how doing the decrees, how to be a winner and becoming the God here and now. Son and daughter of God, I should say. Okay. Moiniji, I think we have it. We are coming to the end. We can read wherever.
Each time, one moment. Sir, वो चला गया कहीं, हाँ पेज आ गया. Each time a situation of imbalance occurs in your life, as a chela on the path, you must see it as an opportunity in the present to right a wrong of the past. This is how you balance karma. This is how you relieve the soul of the burden of the synthetic image. Now, life becomes a challenge, and you see that you are what you are, a living flame. Regardless of what you think you are in those moments of encounter with the accumulations of past energy sowings. And so the law is fulfilled. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Be then the joyous reaper, knowing full well that as you cull the energy of karma into the flame, you will reap an abundant harvest of light. For locked in these energy coils is a life that is God. And when that misqualified energy comes into contact with that flame, with the flame that is in your heart, it is requalified and sent forth to bless all life with perfect love, perfect wisdom, perfect power. In our next release, we will take up the study of the violet transmuting flame and what it can mean to the Chela on the path of enlightenment. Oh, be lightened in the light of the heart, whose servant I remain. Moria.
Wow. Any afterthoughts, Moiniji?
Yes. So whenever some problem comes in our life, we must rather thank God that it has come to give us a beautiful life ahead. It has come to tell us that some of our karmas has been nullified, and that is a beautiful way to balance the karmas. What we have sown in our past, we have to face it. But if we are connected to the masters, if we are connected to the violet flame, then we will emerge as a beautiful, evolved soul.
Mhm. Thank you.
Because
Also,
next page I can't see.
yeah,
Jen need to change
okay,
that. Yes. Yes.
okay.
And you see that you are what you are. So when we choose the will that, okay, we have to change ourselves and we have to do now, at least now we know why the problems we are facing because we have done something in our past and we have to bow down before the law of karma that whatever we have done, we have to cut the same harvest. But the results of this, the past karmas, they can be softened if we start doing violet flame degrees, if we connect to the masters, especially Almoria, if we pray to him that just let, now I'm doing something to evolve myself, to undo those karmas. So violet flame is the best transmuter of our karmas in the presence of ascended masters, in the guidance of ascended masters.
Thank you. Those beautiful words. One thought that from the previous reading was that it's a testing of our soul. So it's opportunity, but it's also testing. What does that mean? Testing of our soul. What I understand is that is testing means this to me. To me, testing means to pass that test or look at the other way, or as Shakespeare, Saint Germain, as Shakespeare called in his earlier embodiment, to be or not to be. So testing is, you can look at it that way. Do I want to pass this test through my higher mind, going through my heart chakra, as Almoria talks about in this chapter? Higher mind is where the Atma is in the threefold flame. Or do I want to keep myself in the lower chakra, the soul is, and feeling angry and non-forgiveness. I'm not going to forgive this person. I'm going to be angry no matter what I know the law. And then why did it? I'm right and he's wrong. And no matter, we have all the reasons, why I don't want to forgive that person. And so that is, so from what I'm saying is that that's a test of, we only pass the test when we raise our vibration from the level of the seat of the soul and then coming to the level of the heart. And by chanting Om or buying those decrees that we talked about earlier. And so remember that one of the masters, Saint Germain, he gave a dictation some time ago. And at the end, he said, it was, no, every master, they give a dictation. At the end, they say something, line, very important line. I always go for that line. What did he say at the end? He said, may you pass every test. I think that became a very important line. May you pass every test. You say when you greet each other, when you meet each other, you always want to when you shake your hand, we just say, okay, see you later. You say that, see you later. Say may you pass every test. You say that way because of farewell. May you pass every test. So I think those are my words. Jay, you highlighted some things. You want to say something about those? A couple of places you have highlighted.
Yes, sir. I think Mohini has already explained what I wanted to say, because basically it's that when you get something which upsets you in your life is basically because of your karmas, and that's an opportunity wherein you can really go ahead and accept it with peace, and try to maintain our peace so that we can pass through it without creating more karmas over the karma we have, because we had before. Sometimes people, when there's a tough situation, people are unable to control themselves and create more karmas over that particular karma. And when I was reading this, I remembered that remember one of the anecdotes from a mother's life when she was leaving her house, and she lifted the knife and she kept it back, where the test was that her karma, she had done something in the past, and she was almost doing the same thing again, but she stopped and she just left the house and went away with marked profit. So so it's important that we control ourselves and we center ourselves with our people flame, and we think why it is happening, and we move ahead.
Thank you, Jay. Lalita ji, welcome. We have joined us. Very, on behalf of the society, we welcome you for being part of the study group. So, Kathleen, anything on your heart before we close this chapter?
In the process, individuals must learn the art of self-mastery. And this is the difficult part for me anyway. He says they must learn to govern those energies in motion, which is a very difficult thing to do, because I find that self-mastery is one of the most difficult things. And the most difficult thing to master is the emotions, because they go up and down like the ocean, like the waves of the ocean. And so it's really great, to have these teachings and to have the words of El Moria and the advice of, sort of the way he's saying that we know what's happening when our karma is returning to us. We have an understanding that we don't blame other people, because we understand that maybe it's something that I've done in the past that helps me to take responsibility for my own actions. And this is one of the blessings of understanding about karma and overcoming those negative emotions that naturally we want to blame other people. We naturally want to get angry. Naturally, we want to think that it's some other reason why I'm going through this or why I'm suffering this. And when you understand that it's causation, it's because we have probably set these things in motion in a past life, and now they're coming back. We're reaping what we sowed in a past life. It gives us that understanding that helps us to learn to master our energies and to master our emotions. And I so appreciate hearing El Moria's teaching about these things. It's a great blessing in my life. And like he said, you know, we reap what we sow. And but it's a constant test of trying. You know, he said, know that you will be tested. And it's a constant test that he gives us every day. And every time we fail, we have to get up and try again. As long as we get up and try again, I think that's an important part of it. As long as we keep trying.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I think self-mastery is a mastery of the I call it self with a small s, mastery of the self, or the mastery to become the bigger self with a capital S, you know. So mastery of the soul to become the higher self, you know. So and you said before there are days up and down, and we all and I think the way Almoria's teaching can help us in self mastery to me and to all of us is that he's he lays as he tells us, you know, that first of all that what who we really are, how we what we are, the higher self, the real self, how we are, and what is the lower self, how we, and what is what how to overcome, how to overcome the hurdles in between lower self and higher self, you know, step by step, and how we approach that. So I think he's laying us a path. And I think also I believe that we're going to do a shortly prayer to him. You know, and we can give that prayer to him also. We have a decree 10.03 God's, I am God's will, that we also, you know, and the morning prayer that we did earlier. So we can always keep his presence over us, you know, to help us, steer us, remind us, you know, on the inner, you know, about it. If we find difficulty in some situation, what do I do? What do I do here? And we lose that you know, a lot of times we get caught up in that situation, and we you know, we don't know, we don't remember that. So I think we can ask him to place your 7 chakras over my chakras, beloved and Moria, and we can remind that prayer, you know, and he will do that as a bapu, as a father, you know. So that's how one way I feel that we all, as you said also, that we do mistake, we do fall, but it's not important how you fall. It's more important that you get up and keep on keeping on, you know. So I think that's my afterthought. I think on with these words, I let's do J 10.18, the the decree that we have, sweet surrender to our holy vow. 10.18, I think I want to give that together one time. You can give the decree as many, this one very short, beautiful. It's not a decree, it's a prayer to Moria. And these are his words, you know. So he's saying that sweet surrender to our holy vow. What is a holy vow? Holy vow is that God, I am that I am. I will never go forth from, when I go into the word, from the formulas to the word of form. I will be always do will of God. I will not own thing. I will not, I will not, you know, have attachment as Buddha's quality to things like, and that, and Buddha said that attachment brings dukkhas, you know, suffering. So we are saying, take away from me all that is I don't need, so, you know, in my thoughts, in my feelings, in my words. That keeps me attached to the worldly things, you know, and so I can pass my test, you know, as you're talking about. So let's give it together. Together we'll say that. Let's give an om, one just center in our heart, as I always do. Oh. Our will to thee we sweetly surrender now. Our will to God flame we ever bow. Our will passing into thine we sweetly vow. No pain in eternal surrender. Thy will, O God, be done. From our hearts they will now sunder. Make our wills now one. Beauty in thy purpose, joy within thy name. Life surrendered purpose, breathes thy holy flame. grace within thee flowing, into mortal knowing, on our souls bestowing, is immortal sowing. Thy will be done, O God, within us every one. Thy will be done, O God. It is a living sun. Bestow thy mantle on us, thy garment living flame. Reveal creative essence. Come thou once again. Thy will is ever holy. Thy will is ever fair. This is my very purpose. This is my living prayer. Come, 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 O will of God, with dominion souls endow. Come, 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 O will of God, restore abundant living now. I like to make a prayer, but before I make a prayer, I like to say that next week we will not have any meeting. I'll be attending something else here in America, another function I have on the weekend. So we will Jay and Poonam will meet on Tuesday morning for the Wall Flame group that we have. So I'll put that the same link, same time, 6 to 8. You can attend for half an hour or more, and then I think that will continue. But then we'll resume our meeting on September 4th. September 4th, I will be there, but the next one is on, I think, the September 11th. I think that probably is a Sunday. So I'll put that on the Facebook, and I'll send you also, Poonam will send you the announcement for our next meeting on the Zoom. So I look forward to, please keep, if you do not have this book, this is the book I'm talking about. Please get that book, from Amazon, Chela and The Path by Sunday Master Almoria. Very good book to read, what that you have been talking about. So once again, I'd like to thank you all. I'm going to say a prayer, and then we're going to ask you farewell. Have a nice evening over there. Beloved Master Moria and the entire Darjeeling Council assembled, beloved Chananda and all the Indian Council gathered, beloved Saint Germain, all the Council of the Royal Teton gathered, beloved Guruma and Lanello, and beloved Babaji, Anas and the Master of the Himalayas, all who are with us, have been with us, all the angels from greater heights, all the sons and daughters of Goddess and the Masters, angels, cosmic beings. We thank you for your presence in being with us. We ask you to steer every person who been part of this meeting, books study group, and who will be connected and watching the recording on the Facebook and on the YouTube, that they may be guided by Master Moria, by your angels, that they may be taken to the next level of understanding, of entering that white fire core of being in their heart, in the threefold flame perpetually, and being there always. Beloved Archangel Michael, beloved Hanumanji, come forth now and seal everyone in your light, in your blue flame of protection, and take them to your retreat of beloved Master Moria or any other retreat that need to go tonight in their final body to learn more about these teachings that are open of the pathway of the Chela on the path, becoming a victors in the light, being a beacon, being a lighthouse, a pillar of fire in this dawning golden age, here and now, not only for ourselves, but for the whole world who's waiting for this teaching, so they may also receive it and become it. In God's holy name, Om Tat Sat Om. Amen. Thank you everyone for being patiently for this wonderful meeting. God bless you and have a nice evening and a nice day wherever you are.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your precious time. Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you so
welcome,
much.
all of you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah.
We
God
have
bless.
class.
Thank you.